Okay? Volunteer and pay it forward. So, ang sabi to, get involved in community services or charitable activities. We actually do missions. If you're interested, kung sino man nag-invite sa inyo, sabihan nyo yung nag-invite sa inyo, I'm interested to volunteer for missions, to be able to pay it forward. And of course, also, we allow you to give donations for that purpose. It's very, very important. So, you can contribute to a cause you care about, so that you can bring a sense of fulfillment and purpose. And this is one of the things that I would like you to include, especially sa inyong mga magulang, kung hindi kayo expressive sa inyong pagte-thank you sa kanila, especially if you know for a fact na they are doing everything in their power to give you a good education, or kung hindi man nila kayang ibigay sa inyo yung inyong financial needs, pero nakikita nyo sa kanila yung effort nila nonetheless, and you want to be thankful, then incorporate random acts of kindness sa routine mo. Diba? Let's say, magugas ka ng plato, or magkasulat ka ng sweet nothings as note sa inyong parents and stuff. So those are the things you can actually do as random acts of kindness. Very, very important one. You know what? One of the studies that has been done, proves na every time you do something good, it does not only give you a sense of fulfillment or purpose, but it actually makes you feel better. And you get a certain high kasi na-activate ng brain mo yung dopamine chemicals in your brain. So it's similar kapag nag-gaming ka and you win the game or you lose the game, there is a certain kick of dopamine. Pag natatalo ka, usually adrenaline yan because you want to win, and then you get all pumped up, you get hyped up. Kaya nga, even if you are in a virtual environment, it seems so real that your brain makes it so real. But going back doon sa volunteer and paying it forward, ang nangyayari kasi sa'yo is you are able to incorporate an action that is intentional, that may seem random, pero it's part of your routine to be generous. Okay? To be generous with your time. You can volunteer your time. Let's say, magaling kang instrumentalist, you can teach others for free, or let's say ikaw ay you are a cosplayer, and you can actually involve others and tell them about the pros and cons of cosplaying and so on and so forth. So ang dami mong pwedeng i-incorporate na activities doon sa buhay mo na makakatulong doon sa ibang tao, especially if you are able to experience the things that they are just going to go through. Okay, that's very, very important. So, nilaliken ko kasi, let's say, ikaw ay driver, you go through a very difficult route, zigzag siya. The first time you go through that route na zigzag is going to be difficult. Second time, you're able to familiarize yourself with the terrain, it becomes easier. And as you move and go forward, padali ng padali sa'yo because you are very familiar with the road. But for a person who is going to go through that road for the first time, it's going to be very difficult. Kahit, let's say, they have a more powerful vehicle, diba? They are equipped with all the safety software ever, but still they are not familiar with the terrain. It's going to take them slower. But if they have somebody inside that vehicle who knows the terrain, who knows the layout, whom they can actually seek guidance kung paano nga ba itatraverse yung terrain na yan, or they would allow that person to take the wheel, then their travel will be faster. Kaya importante na meron tayong mga kilalang individuals who already have experienced what we are just going to go through, and we can seek them for guidance. And you can be that person para sa isang tao who will be experiencing something that you have had experience, or maybe they have an expertise on, and they're going to go through the first time. One of the most powerful random acts of kindness is just being by the side of a person who needs you in their most difficult state. You don't need to talk to them. You don't need to, do something for them. You just sit with them silently. Kasi kadalasan ng problema ng tao, they see a friend who is going through a difficult situation ng buhay nila. They try to downplay the difficulty, 'di ba? Halimbawa ano siya, nawalan ka kunwari ng cellphone, sabihin sa'yo, "At least hindi ka sinaktan, at least hindi ka namatay." That's downplaying, what has happened. So, I remember yung ano ko, yung best friend ko na ano siya, na-hold up sila ng kanyang office mate sa jeep. Tas kinuhaan sila ng cellphone. So nung ano, nung na-experience nila yung, event na yun, ang ginawa ko lang sa kanila is, I was just there listening to their story. And when they were telling me their story, they were crying, pagkatapos ng session namin, nakatulong daw sa kanila yun. That's a random act of kindness. And they felt good about telling me their story. And there's no judgment in me. Oo, alam ko alanganin yung oras ng uwi nila. Alam ko na they could have done better or whatever to avoid that circumstance. But it happened. Diba? Sometimes, those things happen to people and you don't need to say anything. Just be there for them. Just listen to them. Listen to their stories. Remember, katulad nga ng sinasabi ng Biblia, confessing actually leads to healing. And that's very true. Yung confession nila actually, allowed them to experience a bit of reprieve doon sa kanilang traumatic experience. Ayan. So, the next time, naisip nga nila, during that time, if you are just going to commute most often when you go to and fro work, don't buy a high-end cell phone or don't pull it out in the commute itself. So there were a lot of learnings that we processed during that time. And eventually, without me telling them, ang sinabi nila in the end, after several sessions of course, sabi nila at least hindi nga sila sinaktan, hindi sila namatay. Oh, di ba? So it made them realize that they were still blessed in the process without me pushing that agenda and telling them, oy, you know what, there's a silver lining in this dark cloud that has happened in your life. So, ang galing nung situation na ganong klaseng, you do that random acts of kindness. Of course, if you're watching TikTok, if you're watching Reels, if you're watching, let's say, YouTubers, di ba yung nagbibigay sila ng pera, doon sa mga tao or nagbibigay sila ng grocery, napansin ko madami yung kanilang views because it's actually, very nice. Sabihin na natin that they are, ma-recover nila yung cost nila of giving that amount of grocery or that amount of money by the hits or the likes or the number of views that they have experienced in their channel. But at the same time, it still is really good to help. Kaya nga importante na part of 2024, let's start putting that in our agenda. Diba? So, again, nung ako ay bata pa, mahirap lang kami. And alala ko tuloy nung bata ako yung nagbebenta ng cold cuts product ang aking nanay. Nakakuha kami ng mga libreng t-shirts, yung mga nakalagay na Swift, Pure Foods. Sometimes makakakuha kami ng ng tawag dito ng towel, face towel. So those are the things na ipon namin. So ang palayaw sa akin nung mga kaibigan ko nung bata ako, Pure Foods, kasi normally meron akong t-shirt tapos nakalagay Pure Foods. So hindi designer t-shirts yung mga nakuha ko, pero they were comfortable enough, a mix of polyester and cotton pag naalala ko. So it was actually quite hot kasi it was cheaper to make, of course, and it was cheaper for the organ companies to buy. But no complaints, at least wala, may t-shirt ako, hindi ako nakatubad. So ang ginawa ko nun, there will be nights na lingid sa kaalaman ng pamilya ko, ng mga kaibigan ko, na I would go around yung namin sa Paco, and I would be handing out t-shirts yung meron ako. So hindi ako mag-hand out ng t-shirt ng butas-butas na yung kilikili na para naman basahan na yung mga t-shirts na bigay ko, pa yun, tawag dito, maayos pa talaga siya. And I will give it doon sa mga street dwellers, face towel. It doesn't mean na I have to hoard them. It just means that I need to make it more meaningful for the item na magamit siya ng mga taong talagang nangangailangan. So I don't need 12 t-shirts. Naiisip ko yun nung bata ako. So, when I reach, let's say, nakatanggap kami ni nanay and, I go beyond 13 t-shirts I would normally give away 4, or let's say hindi ko nagawa yun, I would normally, uh, save some and then eventually give them out. Minsan nga naka-plastic pa siya, eh, yung hindi ko pa talaga nagagamit and then I give it away. And it made me feel good, but at the same time, I saw how blessed I was kahit kami ay mahirap kasi we had a house to live in, I was studying, tapos the means of distribution na meron ako, I was using my bike and giving that away. So, nalaman to ng mga kaibigan ko in high school, but I was already in college doing this when we were having that conversation. So, it was actually a slip of the tongue. Nagkukwentuhan kami. Tapos sabi nila, uy, gusto namin sumama, sama kami. May mga bike din sila. So, they saw what I was doing. And then, we made it a ritual. So, every end ng semester, kaming mga magkakaibigan, we would pull our resources of used clothing. Sometimes kung meron kaming shoes, and we were just hoping na yung family na bibigyan namin ng stuff will be able to use them. Sana ka-size ng paa namin, yung shoes na ibibigay namin, socks. Ang hindi na namin pinamimigay syempre underwear because for hygiene purposes, t-shirts, shorts, and everything. And after that session, magkukwentuhan kami magkakaibigan. The reason why we were doing that at the end of every semester, para wala kaming pasok na. So, wala na kaming obligation the following day, mapuyat man kami giving these things away. So, it was just, doing our bit to help others out, even in the most difficult circumstances. Kasi we could have been very selfish and accumulated more t-shirts, blah, blah, blah. Pero, when you think about it, yung value kasi ng gamit na meron ka, it's amplified when you know that it's needed by people and definitely will be used by them. So pag tinignan mo ngayon yung closet mo, especially if you are quite well off, pag tinignan mo yung closet mo, how many of your clothes actually have high value in terms of usage? Diba? Then give it away and then do that. So, my friends volunteered their time with me and I made sure na it was actually worthwhile. Tapos, ginawa namin na nag-pool kami ng resources. Pag may naipon kami, binibili namin actually gatas. Kasi napansin namin doon sa mga binibigyan namin street dwellers. Meron silang mga anak. So, bibili kami ng gatas. We give yung gatas to them. And nag-evolve siya in a way na kapag meron kaming drive na makabili ng mga dilata, we will also give food items because it's not only the clothing that they need, but also food as well. So, yun yung naging evolution ng aming random acts of kindness. Kaya, nabitbit yan ng mga kaibigan ko when we were actually already working. We continued to do good things and it did not only make us feel better, but it became an automatic behavior for us. And alam nyo, ang ganda when you are a generous giver kasi it just simply allows you the opportunity na hindi mag-unload ng mga things that you don't need, but to see how you have blessed people. Ayan. So, volunteer and pay it forward. Make it part of your well-being habit. Doing those things. I hope na maging part siya ng inyong monthly, quarterly, or biannual na calendar. Doing those bits and pieces. Remember, we are not downplaying the poverty or debasing impoverished people. But at the end of the day, hindi tingnan natin, there are always other people na mas nangangailangan kasera sa atin.